For over 20 years, the advice was just simple. If you can't afford to live in Albuquerque, you should probably look into Rio Rancho. And I'll be honest with you, that was great advice back 7 years ago. Nowadays, you're taking a look at all the data, and when you're taking a look at Rio Rancho as a whole, some of those things just are not adding up, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. Before you actually write off Rio Rancho and just say you're not gonna move there, just doesn't make sense, just know that in between all this data, Rio Rancho still makes a ton of sense, and it's benefiting a lot of buyers, more so now than any other year before. All right, now before I get fully transparent and just go on with the video, I wanted to show you something real quick because a lot of people don't think that it actually rains here in New Mexico. But check that out. Full monsoon season here in Albuquerque. It's awesome. It's coming down pretty good. And full transparency, I was born and raised here in Albuquerque, and as a licensed broker here in the state of New Mexico, as much as I love doing these videos, I would also love to help you find that next place to call home. So call or text me at any time. So this data is gonna shock you just a little bit. We're gonna take a look into the past in one said neighborhood to show you what's happening all across the board here in Rio Rancho. Now, we're gonna be talking about the Loma, Colorado neighborhood, which is a very popular neighborhood. It's one of the first kind of smart living neighborhoods where they have the school, the community center, the aquatic center, and a gym right within walking distance of this neighborhood. So it all just kind of makes sense for this idea of master plan communities. It's one of the first like that besides the one that we have here in Albuquerque out there on the southeast side. Here in Rio Rancho, Loma, Colorado, in 2023, the average price home was selling around $500,000. In 2026, you'll be shocked to know that it's actually gone down just a little bit, not a whole ton. You're looking at maybe a fraction of a percent because now in 2026, the average price is sitting around $499,000 and some change. Not an astronomical change, but when you're taking a look at all this here, there's one thing that you see, right? And it's not a negative thing. It's more of a positive. I know what you're thinking. You're like, how can that be positive, Eli? How can the numbers going back just a little bit be positive? That's not trending in the right direction. Well, when you're taking a look at, everything zoomed in on a microscopic lens, yes, it looks like it's going in the wrong direction. But when you kind of step back and take a look at Rio Rancho as a whole, kind of like from a 1,000-foot view, you see that things are actually trending. They've actually increased as a whole in Rio Rancho in their average price point anywhere from a third to a full percent, which in 3 years with a growing city in a market like we're in today, that's the right direction because we should be going down. We've hit a flat spot and that's okay, right? Things had to adjust a little bit. The state of the economics in the world right now is just a little uncertain, and I'm sure you're feeling that. This isn't a negative thing. This is kind of one of those things where you see just sitting prey and you go in for the attack and you take advantage of it, and negotiating deals and getting the house that you want is actually a lot easier than you think. And I'm just gonna be transparent with you because when you look at Realtor.com, Zillow, Redfin, all those numbers are gonna be all over the place. None of them are gonna make any sense. You're gonna see things way above, way below. It's just gonna confuse you because what I use is actual data. I use what sold in the past 3 to 6 months, and I use the MLS, not something that everybody has access to. And that's why we're pretty valuable as realtors. We can actually tell you what's happening in live time and just give you a real professional opinion versus what an algorithm is gonna say, which I'm not trying to knock those things. At the end of the day, when it comes down to actually getting the facts, everything that the internet is gonna give you is gonna confuse you. So again, call or text me at any time if you have any questions because I'd love to make sure that you have full transparency if you are planning a move. I really wish we could have went out and filmed some of this video for you, but since it's raining and it's windy, it just doesn't make any sense. So we're gonna just have to chill out and hang out our bedroom. And I need the energy today. If anybody out there is watching and you guys are part of Ghost, if you guys want to sponsor us, we're open to it. This next part is really like the caveat in all of this here, because when we're talking about a flat market, what is it flat in comparison to? What does that all mean? And this next number is what really surprised me, and I think it's gonna surprise you too. So let's talk average price points, because when you're talking about comparing Albuquerque and Rio Rancho, those are the two biggest markets that a lot of people are dealing with when it comes down to moving to New Mexico, besides Las Cruces, but nobody's thinking about them. So when we're talking about average price points, you'll be surprised to know that Rio Rancho is at $364 for a house on average, and Albuquerque, it's weird. This number is just going to trip you out. On average here in Albuquerque, we've actually went down a little bit, and we're at $346. Pretty crazy, right? I thought the same thing. I was bugging when I seen this data. I had to double check everything that I was doing because I couldn't believe that Rio Rancho was slightly more expensive in most cases versus Albuquerque, or just about the same. So I really started to dive into this conversation and really try to figure out why. Why would anybody choose to live 45 minutes away from most amenities and just where everything is happening? Well, there's a good reason. They want to be able to still live in somewhat of a city that's outside of the metro area, that feels a little bit more suburban, of course, that is growing. And they also want to get a newer house, a bigger lot, and they just don't want to deal with the Albuquerque traffic or the headaches that come with the metro city. They just want a little bit more peace and quiet, so to say. So tons of good things there to look into when you are looking to relocate to Rio Rancho versus Albuquerque. Just understand that it's not always going to be the cheapest option anymore. But that still doesn't give you a whole perspective on why things are flattening out. Maybe it adds to it a little bit, but the whole reason why markets flatten out, and we all know it, it's the writing on the wall, it's because of interest rates. Sure, within the past couple of years, we've actually hit 8%, but even now, so with interest rates being at 6.5, 6.25, just looming around that area there, even at $364,000, that's a big difference from 7 years ago when interest rates were at 3.5, 4%. Things have changed. Moving to Rio Rancho because it is the most affordable city in New Mexico isn't the actual fact and the actual data anymore. There's bigger things than that, more important things that you don't think about until you lived in the place for about 6 months that are really driving people to move over there. And this is just what I'm seeing, right? It's not hard to really dissect what's happening in the world when it comes to real estate, because real estate is super emotional at the end of the day. So human behavior and human characteristics when it comes down to lifestyle really plays a lot into where people are going to start relocating to. With that being said, if you want real numbers and you want real data, we can connect you with the lender. Or if you just want to talk about these specific neighborhoods and what they could potentially offer to you, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. Feel free to call or text me at any time, but let's talk about resale versus new homes. So last time we were talking about builders out in Rio Rancho, we were talking about all the great deals that they were giving you, from incentives for rate buy downs, closing costs, upgraded finishes on the house. And a lot of people started to ask me more recently, Eli, have those things gone away? Is the window closed on getting a great deal on a new build out in Rio Rancho? And I'm gonna just be honest with you. The short answer is no, they haven't gone away. Things have just changed. Because homes out there in Rio Rancho are sitting a little bit longer, the whole landscape and the overview of deals and incentives has changed a little bit. They're not as big, they're not as grand. They aren't pushing things as much. Because last year, homes were sitting for about 120 days. Now in 2026, they're sitting for about 140. And inventory across New Mexico affects this as well. For sure, inventory has a lot to do with what's happening right now. Because there's more homes on the market right now, things are gonna sit a lot longer. And what does that mean for you as a buyer, somebody that's looking to purchase a house in Rio Rancho? That means that you have leverage. And that leverage comes with negotiating price reduction, closing costs, repairs. You're not battling, 10 different other people and offering above asking price, waiving inspections. You're not having to do crazy things to make sure that it's a fair deal. Now you have some leverage and you have time on your side, because if a house has been sitting on the market for 90 days, that means that you can walk in if the house makes sense to you and make a decent offer to where you can save yourself some money in the long run. And I want to be frank with you on this new builder thing, because a lot of people get confused when it comes down to negotiating with new builders. And if you don't understand their position and where they're at, because you're not going to see a whole ton of price reductions when it comes down to it with these new builders, because they're trying to protect the value of the other people that have already purchased houses in their neighborhoods. The way you win with these new builders is by bringing somebody in like us, and we do all the negotiating for you. We negotiate rate buy downs, incentives for upgrades on the house, and just stuff like that, odds and ends. On the back end, that's where you're going to make your money. You're not going to make your money up front on these new builds. You're going to make your money on the back end by saving money on a lower interest rate or not having to do all the costly upgrades like upgraded window fans and, you know, different things here and there. So that's how you win, and that's how you actually get ahead with the new builder in Rio Rancho. When you're talking about resale, just understand with resale, the seller is the main driver here. They are going to be the ultimate decision maker on whether or not our negotiations and offer make sense. So you can get more creative, you can have a little bit more leeway when it comes down to negotiations with the seller, but the big caveat here is that you want to pay attention, and I talked about this in that last video that I did talking about Westway. Westway offers a ton of great things just at their base price, a lot more than I would expect. Most builders, they're $450 base price. After you add in all the glitz and, you know, nice and fancy things, that price really starts to go up. And when you're looking at a resale house, if all those things are already done in a house that is slightly older, $450 versus that $480 in a resale are two different monsters. You just can't take things for face value. You really have to dig into that, and we can help you with that as well. All right, so it's dinner time and mama ain't home. So it is up to me to feed these kiddos. All of this brings me to my next point, and that's gonna be the savings that I talked about at the beginning of the video. All this other stuff isn't really gonna show you. Okay, so we all know how important property taxes are. They're guaranteed. We have to pay them. There's no way of getting around them. Rio Rancho, in most cases, is a little bit cheaper than Albuquerque. So on average, when it comes down to property taxes, in Rio Rancho, you'll pay anywhere from $2,000 to about $2,400, which is an astronomical difference from what I pay here on the west side of Albuquerque. Just to give you perspective, my property taxes are double that every year, and I don't live in anything special. So that's where the savings really kick in here when it comes down to people aren't really talking about. Okay, so here's the weird one, because when you're looking at Rio Rancho, it's pretty similar to Albuquerque on how they do their taxes. Every zip code is going to be just a little bit different. I'm sure it's kind of the same where you're coming from. Every tax code is going to be just a little bit different, just depending on the schools, the local assessments, and amenities in the area, right? That's pretty easy to understand. The weird thing about Rio Rancho is that there's a little section of it that nobody ever really talks about until we actually get into the conversation of taxes when you're buying the house. Some of Rio Rancho, like this little pocket area, actually sits in Bernalillo County. So just be careful when you are looking at taxes. All right, kiddos are all fed. And who doesn't love a good grilled cheese? I consider myself a grilled cheese connoisseur at this point. My son loves them, but you have to make him specific or else he'll really throw a bit of a fit because it's not up to his standard. Anyways, when we're talking about other things that you can expect here, I want to flip it on its head a little bit, because yes, the tax bill is one thing, but there's one other fee or assessment charge that you're going to see on your monthly spreadsheet for your mortgage that you would have never even thought was a thing, and that's called a PID. Now, what is a PID? And a PID is a public improvement district, and that's where the developers take out a loan to be able to develop the infrastructure of the neighborhood. It sounds super silly, right? Like they really finance the roads and the sidewalks and all that stuff. So you as a buyer, you're going to carry that cost throughout your mortgage, and you're going to pay that loan that they took out. So just be careful when you're looking at things. Again, just make sure that you really get that conveyed to you if there is a PID tax, whether it's a newer neighborhood or an older neighborhood. They're spread all around Rio Rancho. It's very common to run into a PID tax in Rio Rancho. So you just want to ask the qualified questions on either how much it is and how much longer it has, because these things can run for decades. And I mean, there is some that are on the resale side that we still deal with today that a lot of people would never have thought would still be active. And let's also talk about just the nuance things that you're going to pay here, because gross receipts tax is lower in Rio Rancho than Albuquerque, so that's a small win there. Utilities in most cases are a little bit less in Rio Rancho, but they can add up just because you are going to get a bigger yard, so you may be watering more than you would if you bought a house here with a smaller plot of land in Albuquerque. So just lifestyle adjustments, different things that you're going to have to look forward to. Overall, the cost of living here in Rio Rancho and in Albuquerque are anywhere from 10 to 20% less expensive than most major metro areas all across America. So tons of savings, tons of great things to look forward to, little small minor tweaks that you're just going to have to get used to if you plan on living in a certain neighborhood, in a certain house, just because of the PID tax and just different little caveats that come with living in these neighborhoods. Now, just keep in mind that Rio Rancho School District is separate from what Albuquerque School District is. You're gonna hear a ton of things about schools here in New Mexico. What I usually tell people is go to greatschools.org, pull the report cards for each school, do the digging for yourself, get that information straight from the source. That way you know what you're getting yourself into, and that way you can be rest assured and know exactly what school you're gonna put that kiddo in if you got kids coming with you on this move. Just full transparency, based off all the research that I've helped clients with and my own research in looking at school districts, Rio Rancho school districts usually rank higher in the whole state of New Mexico. So take that for what it is, go and do the research yourself and make sure that you know that you're making the right choice when it comes down to this part of the whole move. But this brings me to the next thing, and is Rio Rancho still affordable in 2026? So is Rio Rancho still affordable in 2026? Yeah, it really truly is, but it's not going to be the best bargain because those two are different things. Real talk, it's not a discount play anymore. It's not about where you're going to save money, because most of the time people, when they look to relocate to New Mexico, they're looking to save money altogether, right? Notice how I didn't say Rio Rancho, Albuquerque, Las Cruces, or Santa Fe. I said New Mexico as a whole. When you move down here from California, Florida, Colorado, there's different things that you're going to be able to save money on. Home prices, when you're looking at them from the major metro areas where the average price point is around $450,000, that's a big gap from our $350,000, right? That's just a savings altogether, but you're moving not just because you're looking for a discount or trying to save some money. You're moving because you're looking for a different type of lifestyle. Majority of the time, people move down here for a slower pace. They want to be able to have scenic views. They don't want all the congestion. They want shorter commutes. Like, there's a lot more that goes behind it. And that's where most of our conversations end up in when we're talking about people relocating here, because I could sell you a house sight unseen, and if the numbers make sense, you might buy it. It happens all the time, right? It happens with us investors when we're looking at different deals. We really don't care what the house looks like. What does the numbers look like? Maybe you're not an investor, so maybe you stop looking at things through the lens of just the money play and start looking at it in terms of return of value in the whole quality of life conversation. But I do gotta say, Rio Rancho has way more new home developments than Albuquerque does. So that's a big win for them there. So if you do want a newer house, you're more than likely gonna end up in Rio Rancho, because Albuquerque has just small little pockets. And I'll be honest with you, I think there's maybe 3 or 4 different new build communities here, and I don't see any more popping up because we're already gridlocked. Rio Rancho is where there's more availability of land for developers to be able to go and build new homes, and the dirt's a lot cheaper. So yeah, if you want a newer home, definitely look into Rio Rancho. I don't want to be one of those weirdos that says, oh, right now is the perfect time to buy. You know, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. That's all corny doo-doo. So when we are talking about is right now a good time to buy in Rio Rancho, I'm just going to be flat and honest with you. Yeah, it really is, because things are flat. Nothing's really moving in either direction. So as a buyer, if you see a house that has been sitting on the market for a little bit longer, you have opportunity to be able to make some money back on the back end there. You just got to know somebody that can help you with doing that. And I might know a guy. So yeah, if you are looking, we can help you with that. Don't shy away just because interest rates are high. I've had many cases where we've helped people purchase a house, even brand new builds, to where we bought down that interest rate and their whole idea of purchasing a house changed because their payment changed, right? There's different things that you can do to make this all make sense. It takes the time to be able to have that conversation and just explore all the options. So don't feel dead in the water just because interest rates are high. There is a ton of upside here right now, more than we've seen in the past 5 years. All right, now we gotta make this quick because I got a kiddo that's gotta get ready for bed. Right now it's currently 7:48. That buffalo there means that my phone's on do not disturb because we stopped working at 7. I gotta make sure that my family's taken care of too. So now that we're wrapping up this video, I'm sure you're trying to wrap your head around this whole move to New Mexico, and this information that I gave you, it wasn't given to you to really have you rethink about moving to Rio Rancho. It's just really given to you to make sure that you're opening the doors to every possibility when it comes to calling New Mexico home. So if you are planning on moving down here in the next 6 to 12 months, as much as I love doing these videos, me and my team would also love to help you with finding the next place to call home. So call or text me at any time. I'd love to connect with you. I can't wait to chat with you to help you discover whether or not Rio Rancho or Albuquerque or Santa Fe or Taos or any part up there in northern New Mexico will be a great fit, because we just expanded into those markets. So if you are looking to call New Mexico home here in the next 6 to 12 months, we'd love to help and guide you. But I'm gonna get going. This kiddo's already yelling for me, so I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good weekend. Peace.